Welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters secondary broadcast as Nate and I are live from our studio in Burbank. I want to say in sunny Southern California, but obviously the sun does not shine at 8 p.m.
It's not sunny anymore. It's
Well,
nighttime now.
Yeah. But it was pretty sunny during the day.
I mean, yeah, it was pretty sunny during the day. Yesterday it was pretty rainy, so it was a nice contrast.
That's because I was in San Antonio, so California was
It does
crying.
rain whenever you're not around, Kev.
I know, that's what I do.
The sun comes back when Kevin comes around.
I bring sunshine in people's life.
Yeah,
If only they all thought like that.
The
Nate.
people on the East Coast need you in that case because they're all getting they're all getting buried under a couple meters of snow.
Well, if anybody is watching from his penthouse or penthouse suite in
If any of you
downtown
are locked
Manhattan,
in your basement, any of my bros from Pennsylvania, if you're still
No,
out,
no,
if
no.
you're still alive out there, buried in your basement.
penthouse Manhattan, Central Park, otherwise I ain't showing up. Nate. Alright, we are ready for our second series of the day / night of the Intel Extreme Masters Taipei. It's going to be a ZvZ and it should be a really good one as we have the Revival going up against Dongregu. As over here on the right top side of the map we have our blue Zerg player. I love how they play dark blue and light blue. That's great, admin, thank you. It is Cooler Master Storm's Revival.
Revival. And his opponent in the southwest position,
Wow. Wow.
the Teal Zerg, representing. Actually, yeah, he's on Invasion Korea now. He is Dongregu.
That is a cool decal, Nate.
That looks like the Space Invaders.
I
logo.
was about to say that. Hey, you want to know one of the coolest things I've ever bought in my life?
Sure.
Alright, so you know like these things that you buy to put in your fridge and you put water in it so they form ice cubes?
Yeah.
I bought one of those but then of Space Invaders, so
That's so bad.
I-
Why don't we have one in our
I had
apartment?
Space Invader
Dude,
ice
that's
cubes.
such a good idea. We should get like Pokeball ones too.
I was so happy with that. I don't know, I left it in Holland.
That sounds like a really badass market to get involved with. I gotta get like Kappa face ones.
Yeah, oh my god.
Imagine if you get like a little Carbot Marine ice cube maker.
Wow.
Dude, I think I know what I'm gonna do now.
Uh,
To invest all my esports money into ice cube trays.
yeah, no, it's awesome. It was a great little tray. I was very happy with it. I don't know where it went though. Probably somewhere in my old house. It wasn't really one of the first things I thought about bringing to America. Alright guys, I'm moving to America to cast StarCraft.
Well, Kev,
Make sure I bring my ice tray to make Space Invader
I
IQ.
think for the parties we have, that would actually be pretty useful.
That's true.
Yeah. So far this game, nothing crazy.
Hey, we can have an IEM viewing party for the days we're not casting.
That is actually a really good idea.
We can invite some nerds over in Southern California to watch the finals of the Intel Extreme Masters with us.
That's actually a really good idea.
We are full of good ideas, Nate. Saving esports one day at a time.
Yeah,
Alright, go ahead.
I'm all for it. Yeah. I was like, as far as this actual game goes, guys, there's nothing really crazy happening. Both players went hatch first. The only difference in the builds, DRG has opened up with gas, and Revival has not. This leads me to believe that Revival is going to live up to his reputation as a roacher. Him and Hyun both really like roaches a lot. Revival is definitely a big roacher, and DRG, he could try to punish this gasless play with some sort of early aggression, or he could just use speed to take a fast third base. He could even be insane and get a fast lair, but he's not that crazy. He's going to open up with speed. No need to risk it.
Yep, curious to see where he is gonna go with that afterwards though, because you're right. And sometimes we've seen Zerg players still cancel that speed as well and do something very silly with it. As the Overlord,
Violet loves to do
Violet
mind game plays
I
like
know.
that.
Violet is a crazy
Well,
Zerg
he's just
player.
crazy in general. I don't know if we should compare him to other Zergs, because
Is it just me or does it smell like fire in here, Nate?
I feel like I smell popcorn or something.
Oh, okay.
It smells like someone probably burnt popcorn.
Alright, well that's a lot better than the actual place being on fire.
Yeah.
I was just making sure.
That would suck, because
I would still finish this game, guys, don't worry. But after the game, I might just run out. But I will bring this. It's gonna be the best picture ever. It's
the
like,
show must go on.
yeah, it's like covered in like black fog over here. It's like, oh gosh, don't recognize it. The roaches move forward. All right, I'm gonna run for my life now. All right, all seriousness though, both extractors going down for Revival. We know that Revival loves to make roaches as well. I know. Did you call him the Roacher before, or was it Dongregu that you called the Roacher?
No. Revival's a roach.
Yeah, Revival is the biggest Roacher of the Roaches.
When I think about roaches, I think about how Revival, like he bullied. I remember him bullying Neeb with like this +1 armor roach
Yeah.
builds, and he did it to everybody.
Neeb has been bullied by Koreans, hasn't he? You
Yeah.
remember that Alicia kept making that Colossus push against him?
Oh yeah. Did like the
Neeb.
same build like both games in a row.
Neep travels to Germany to lose to 2 Colossus builds, 2 bases in 9 minutes. He's
And
like,
+1 roach pushes.
yeah. He's like, wow, guys, this is a great experience.
I'm having a lot of fun here.
Let me send a postcard home. It's fantastic over here.
I'm surprised there's a Baneling Nest coming up for Dongray Gu,
Yeah.
considering that it's very clear Revival is going for roaches. Dongray Gu, as far as what he's seen, he saw the. This is actually a pretty interesting wall, but he saw the Roach Warren, he saw the 2 Evolution Chambers. I don't believe he got anything into the main to see the lair, but at this point, you kind of have to assume so. I guess if he didn't want to assume, then he should at least be able to tell by the upgrades he's getting on the Evolution Chambers that his attack won't be coming for a little while. He is getting a Spire,
Yep.
so.
I'm surprised he's dropping the Spire in the natural. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Because sometimes you see like these silly like half roach all-in pushes, right?
Well, the whole point is that you get in, like, ideally, and I think to what you're saying, Kev, ideally in ZvZ, you build a ton of roaches and you just run them in as the mutas are coming out, and you try to win. It's actually it's so sick because it's a really crazy situation where Revival needs to, of course, get his 3rd up, because if he gets a Spore Crawler down there, then it's really hard for Dongray Gu to do anything back to him.
I mean, Dongray Gu is going to try to go up to 3 bases now as well. Considering the fact that he was a speeding opener player, that he actually should have been on 3 bases a little bit before the Roach player, I'd say. But then again, he's also the one going up to Spire, so maybe he's still able to do something about this space with his Mutalisk. If he's able to keep Revive on 2 bases a little bit longer, that would be fantastic, but the Overseer has scouted the Spire as well. I mean, Revival knows exactly what's going on. And Mutalisk are great, you know, they will get guaranteed damage, they will find themselves some Overlords, they will force out Spore Crawlers, and they should be able to get a couple of drones here and there. But eventually you need more than that, because one thing that Revival will have over Dongray Gu, and not just for a little bit in this game, Nate, but for days, is the upgrade advantage. And it's really, actually he only has 1 upgrade now, but still, he's going to have an upgrade advantage, and it's going to be good.
I mean, when you're playing in Roach vs. Roach, I guess it's one of the things I love to do is harp on how important those upgrades are. A lot of Spore Crawlers being forced out here really doesn't want to take any damage from the mutas.
I like it. Huh?
Considering, I mean, like 9 mutas, okay, like I can see that you definitely need them. He's still gonna kill some Overlords though.
Yeah, I mean that's inevitable. You will always end up losing a few Overlords. They're just too slow to bring them home. Unless you're Destiny, you would have Overlord speed already. They would all be home, sitting on top of an Overspeed or a Spore Crawler. Destiny loves his Overlord speed, doesn't he?
Yeah. It's a high level play, man. As long as, you know, it takes a bit of balls to be able to say, if I know what you're doing, I can beat you.
That's true, Nate. Alright, so I mean, worker-wise, even though Revival made a lot of Spore Crawlers, he also immediately you know, replaced those drones that he lost with more drones. And like I said, he went up to 3 bases pretty damn quick, considering the fact that Dongray Gu was the speedling opening player. Or was a player that opened up with speed. I guess it's an easier way to put it. He's gonna try to pick up one of these extractors here. That would be kind of frustrating, especially because Revival's not really swimming in gas right now. Yeah, he has a little bit, but he doesn't have all that much, and he could have started 1 more upgrade. I love how he has double Evo, but he always only used 1 upgrade at a time. Do you notice that too?
Yeah, that's a little weird. I guess he just doesn't want to. You know, in ZvZ, and when I talk to Zerg players, I actually asked him about the what +1 upgrade versus going for both at the same time, and the most common response I get is that once you lose a few ZvZs because you have an upgrade on the way that isn't done yet, and the other guy has 6 more roaches than you because he didn't get the upgrade, you kind of feel like you can't get away with that as much.
Alright, we're looking at 35 roaches right now that are running across the map. At the same time, a bunch of speedlings try to counter over here. They do get both queens though. That's sloppy by Revival. He could have thrown a couple of transfuses down here and there. Decided not to do that. Did use Thunder and Claws on some of these roaches that were streaming across the map. And it's probably, I think his best base or his best bet is just to kill this hatchery. Maybe a few drones, but I don't think he'll get a whole lot more than that. I would definitely go for the hatch. I think not going for the hatch would be a mistake over here.
Yeah, it's going to be really tricky. Some of the drones are already coming back to mine. And
okay, this is good play though.
He did move with Burrow a few roaches into both the main and the natural.
Oh, okay.
And okay, this is really, really nice.
I have underestimated his power, Nate. This is actually starting to look very promising.
And he sees
now.
this infestation pit researching. Now, normally you get infestors in ZvZ, so you go like roach infestor, but he's going swarm hosts. What?
I mean, swarm hosts are still okay. They're of course not as good as they used to be ever since.
It's just weird because it's like not really a thing anymore.
Yeah, ever since you can abduct the Broodlords.
Yeah, Broodlords are usually a good way to deal with it.
Okay.
Although I guess if DRG is the Spire player, you know, that's nice for him. But he did take some pretty good harass. 28 worker kills for a revival at the end of this. Actually, Grip picked up a few more at the end.
More than worth it. Excellent play with the Tunnel and Claws. It didn't start off all that promising, losing both queens over here. I felt that was a little bit too much. And then I felt he was a little bit indecisive, but that was his entire point. He wanted to just like distract Dongregu and force him to look over here, force him to pull those drones away. And then he was able to you know, sneak into the natural and into the main base with a couple of those roaches that were burrowed. And even if there, let's say, like there are 2 spine crawlers and a spore crawler, you can still pass it, because roaches that are burrowed, they are so tanky, man. They can take so much before they actually die. So just overall very solid play there by Revival.
Yeah, it's a nice position to be able to put yourself in, as Revival is switching into Infestors tech with his roaches. Isn't bad. The Swarm Host transition, though, I'm really wondering if he's caught on to this yet. I feel like when you see the Infestation Pit in ZvZ, at least these days, with the way that the metagame currently works, you're always thinking that it's going to be some variety of Infestor, or I don't even want to say Fast Hive. Like, it's almost always Infestor. Swarm Hosts are tricky because while it's nice to get Swarm Hosts, if Revival maxes out and gets like a good fungal on the Locust Wave, holds them in position, he can get on top of the Swarm Hosts. You know, then it's all over.
I just feel that you know, the Swarm Host is an I'm behind kind of play, and I'm gonna try to drag this game out. As long as you let me max out once or twice, then I'll always have a shot in this game, and that's of course a certain way to look at it. Upgrade wise, he is going to have +2 soon, and Revive on the other end is going to have 2 upgrades. He's going to try to avoid the first Locust Wave, and now might actually be able to find himself a couple of Swarm Hosts.
These Swarm Hosts are out of position, and Revival's going to be able to pick off a few of DRGs. He does not have the Overseer in position with the army, though, so he cannot kill the burrowed ones.
Still want to be careful with how he decides to fight it, though, in the long run, but I think it's going to be enough. Revival should have better upgrades soon. They're about to kick in. Right now, it's actually slightly better for DRG, as he has 2-0 against the 1-1 roaches. 2-2 is almost done. I mean, the Swarm Host is still helping out a little bit. The Mutalisk will get picked off by these few Hydralisks that were streaming in. I don't think Revival should be running up that ramp, but overall that was still a solid victory for Revival. Now he should just back off.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. And even being able to keep getting rid of those Mutalisks is always nice, as he'll be able to fight with more position. Won't have to worry about the Mutas just kind of flying over everything. Now these Swarm Hosts readjusting themselves to the third base. The spines are not there yet, and actually moving them, period, has... Well, it's seriously exposed his front defenses. He could just try to push in and end it right here.
Yep. Solid movement over there by Revival, just running around the rosy, as you like to say, Nate. Just going left and right, left and right. Now he's able to neglect the majority of that spine damage. It took them a while before they were actually rooted in, and in the end, I think Revival just has too much over here. He has 2 upgrade. He has a lot of roaches. He has a bunch of Hydras as well. The Locusts are going to be annoying, because you never want to be fighting 3 units with units like roaches and Hydras. But it doesn't matter, because there were just too many roaches, few too many Hydras, and above all, too strong of upgrades for Revival, as he takes a solid 1-0 lead in this game. Yeah, on the back of some Tunnel and Claw roaches, I would say. I think those were the real game changers.
Yeah, it's not uncommon in ZvZ for plays like that to be what defines who wins. Like, right as those Mutalisks are coming out and trying to be useful, you make that big roach shove because you know that your opponent doesn't really have anything on the ground. They can't afford to. The 9 Mutas, that's a lot of resources to invest. You know, almost 1,000 gas, 1,000 minerals, and we all know 1,000 minerals and 1,000 gas will get you a ton of roaches.
You'll be maxed out on roaches, Nate.
Pretty much.
In my math, you'll be maxed out on roaches. 25 gas.
Yeah, well, yeah, you don't even need it. You don't really. You almost don't even need the gas in that instance.
Cool game by Revival, though. It's always cool to see Tunnel and Claws being used. Still an upgrade that, you know, it comes and goes. It's also like a flavor of the month type of thing. At a certain point, you suddenly see everyone walking around with
some players love it. Like, when I think about players that really like the tunneling claws for roaches, Revival does come to mind. But I think about players like Hyun, Lucira definitely made a lot of use of that. At least in the ZvZs, I was able to see him play in tournaments last year. But other guys, I guess yeah, it is hit or miss.
Bly.
Well, you can't. I mean, Bly's like you can't predict him. Bly's
on fire.
If Haas was a European Zerg, he'd be Bly.
Yeah.
With the crazy builds he does.
That is well said, Nate. All right, we're loaded into game number 2. As Dongregu is going to try to turn this bad boy around, as he's currently trailing 0-1 against Revival. Should be a big tournament for Dongregu as well. But let's just go ahead and introduce Revival first. Of course, our Blue Zerg. 9 o'clock position of Catalina, representing Cooler Master Storm.
Yeah. His opponent in the northeast from Invasion Esports, he is DRG.
Boom boom. I love me some DRG, Nate.
Yeah. Revival is... I'm kind of interested to see how his year develops, right? Because we're not going to see him, at least. We haven't heard anything about him trying to join his teammate Pol in getting a visa to play in any of the WCS tournaments. This is a year where he's basically one of the players that is sent back to Korea after competing in WCS America for 2 years. So I don't believe he's had any success in the Korean scene yet. I don't believe he qualified for either the GSL or the SSL. So tournaments like this, because of that, are a much bigger deal for a player like him than they were last year.
He definitely surprised me a couple of times last year as well, where I really didn't think that he was as strong as he was.
He made it to the finals of Season 1 for WCS America, right? Or he made it to the semifinals.
Oh, yeah,
he finished top 4. I think he lost to Oz, or he played him in the...
Yeah, you're right, Season 1. He did it in 2013, he went all the way to the final. He lost in the final against Hero, that was Season 1. And then Season 2 and Season 3 were relatively disappointing. And then 2014, indeed, Season 1, he had a really good run, and he made it to the semi-final, because I believe in the final it was Hyun versus Oz.
Yeah.
And we had 2 Protoss and 2 Zerg. Alicia was the other Protoss.
Yeah, Hyun beat the...
So that, it wasn't all that bad for Revive, and of course he has won an Intel Extreme Masters as well a long time ago. Didn't he have a pretty good run at San Jose too? Or did he have?
I mean.
Oh, you weren't there.
Yeah, I was in Sweden.
You lost your passion.
Those time zones were.
Yeah, no passion, Nate. I was there. I can't remember, but I think actually he. I think he defeated his teammate. I think he defeated Bolt. Or wasn't really his teammate. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he defeated Bolt. I think Revival made it to top 4, but I could be mistaken. It was either top 4 or top 8. Anyways, it was a solid run. We'll see how he does this tournament. Game number 1, he looked really good. Let's go ahead over the open and take a look at the openers of game number 2. As Dongrigu is close to mining 100 gas, so he can get his speed going. Everything, well, his gas is quite a bit quicker than the one of Revival. What did we miss, Nate? We've been talking too much. Chitty-chatting over history. Ancient history.
Revival has clearly shown that he likes the speed opening, so I'm not surprised that he gets it at a crisp timing, similar to the last game.
You mean DRG?
Oh, yeah, DRG, yeah, DRG. Revival, though, the later gas, I don't think it's too big of a deal. I think it's because I think the reason why someone like Revival does that, because I think he still wants to play Roaches, is just because this map, maybe he feels a little bit less secure because it's 3 players, so it's a little bit more difficult to get the Overlord Scout into your opponent's base, considering that now that the Queens are out and neither player has an Overlord in the other's base. If you want to get a follow-up Scout, it's very tricky, especially considering that the first Overlord for Revival in this instance did go to the southeast position.
DRG is gonna get chicky over here, Kalaris. Oh man, that's such a beautiful scout.
Nice.
It's so funny because it's such a beautiful scout for Dongrigu, and I know that people are like, oh, what? He wasn't even the one scouting. Revival scouts, Dongrigu is main, and the first thing he sees is a bunch of drones being transferred to the natural, which looks like DRG is droning up, but DRG is doing a polar opposite. He is hiding a bunch of Zerglings.
Getting some Zerglings.
Oh man, that's sick. And that's really unfortunate for Revival. He's not going to scout that anytime soon. And I think by the time that he's actually aware of it, look at the production tab.
I love it.
Drones for
I
Revival.
love it because you see those drones moving down and you're like, oh, he built
God.
drones? No, those were actually transferred out of his main.
Yeah.
He only has 21 workers. He didn't build those drones.
No, it was sick play by Dongrigu. That's why I said that was a beautiful scout for Dongrigu while he was the one being scouted. Right now, this is the moment where Revival sees all these Zerglings running across the map. He's going to desperately try to get a wall, but I think it's a little too late. It's just a little too late. First Queen is going to go down. This wall will not go up. I don't think these Queens will survive for that long.
Transferring the drones out. Like, yeah, the Queens will buy some time, but they're not going to kill. They're not going to kill these Lynx.
I don't believe it, Nate.
He spills in. It's all ogre, but the crying, Roddy.
It's all ogre as all these Zerglings run into the main base. There is no Baneling nest either, as he went up to a relatively quick layer. And Dongrigu, with nothing but Zerglings, is going to win game number 2. And I really like that you pointed it out as well, Nate. like I said, like I already figured out that this scout was very unfortunate for Revival and that it was perfect for Dongregul. But Dongregul didn't even have more than 16 drones on his middle line. He had like 12 left after he tested.
He had 12, so he sent more down to his natural than he needed to just to make it look like he was building only drones.
He sold the story. He's playing into the meta, playing into. Those are things you do when you think your opponent is good at this game. Like you're not gonna do that against a lowly player because you're like he probably doesn't even understand.
Yeah, exactly. Someone who's bad at the game might throw those lings in there and be like, okay, and then he'll go to the Baneling nest, get a couple Banelings. He's like, maybe he's gonna attack me, and it's like, why would you do that? Doesn't make any sense. But it's like, no, you're so good at the game, you'll definitely take advantage of what you've seen here.
You'll be like, all right, you scouted me. You see, I was transferring drones and making a lot of drones, and now you probably think you're fine. Well, actually, you're not fine at all. And I already figured it out before because I looked at production tab. I saw 2 overlords instead of 1. I was like, Dongregul, you're so good at this game. Why would you make 2 overlords now? I think you only need 1, then a few drones.
Was it a cat? How does it go, Kev? I wasn't born last night.
Yep. I know these builds ain't right. That's what I thought when I was watching the game. Of course, I have a production tab and Revival does not. Anyway, very cool little mind play there, mind game by Dongregul. We're gonna go ahead and hop into game number 3, which is being played on everybody's new favorite map. It is
Expedition Lust.
Nate, I hate this map.
I hate this map too, Kev.
I really hate this.
This is a map, at least for Terran. This is a map of Terran nightmares.
Have you ever played Protoss? Oh my God, we're gonna get madness over here. I think things are gonna get a little tricky. Let's go ahead and introduce our players.
I don't know if these guys like the map either.
I'll be on the right top side of the map representing Cooler Master Storm. It is Revival, and Revival is going up against the one, the only, the former Iron Squad and GSL. No, he didn't win Iron Squad. I'm lying. He did win a GSL though. He definitely won an MLG. I don't think he's ever won an IEM. Nah,
think so.
I would remember. It is Dongregul.
Dongregul.
He has won a lot of things in his
You talk about Dongregul and MLGs though. You're basically talking about 2012. Him and MKP going back and forth.
First, second, first, second.
Those two guys ran game on
those
the MLG circuit in 2012.
That was pretty damn awesome, I'm not going to lie. As Dongregul has a little bit of lag, so he's requesting a pause. Anyways, what do we have so far for Revival? Oh, we have nothing. Dongregul is not pleased?
Yeah, well, the one thing I was looking at while we were sifting through this pause, he doesn't have a drone on the way to the naturals, so I'm wondering if Revival is gonna just build a pool immediately. If he goes hatch first, I think this gets really tricky. Expedition Lost, like when we talk about the maps, as one of the newer ones,
this one of the smaller ones.
Yeah, it's quite small rush distance. I guess we talk about reasons why people like or don't like maps.
Compare it to the size of King Sejong, or would you say Overgrowth? What would you say? Rush distance from main to main.
I think I'd lean towards Overgrowth.
Yeah, I think I feel you. Anyways, the players have decided to give it another go, so we're live. Game number 3. Winner will move on to the second round of the open bracket of the Intel Extreme Masters in Taipei. I believe the winner of this series would play again. No, it's not Snoot and Daisy. I'll let you guys know who it is. I'll figure it out. Anyways, a bunch of Zerglings pop in the main. And Revival is going to figure this out real soon. But like you said, Nate, it is a hatch first. No, wait, it wasn't a hatch first. It was pool before hatch, so it's still doable for Revival. I'm very curious to see what Dongregul decides to do over here. What do you recommend? Go for the drones? Go for the hatch? Go for the pool? Kidding.
Because he went pool first, you gotta go for the hatch. You should go for the hatch. I don't think you can, in good conscience, try to go for drones, because right now the lings are on the way, right? So by the time you get into the mineral line, the drones will fight you for a little bit. So you have a much better chance of canceling the hatch, building drones back home, and just taking your own. But he is going to take one of his own gases, so DRG still feeling a little bit feisty. And this is really smart, because he should be able to force a cancel on this hatch.
It's going to get quite close though, Nate. It's going to get really close.
Oh, he's bringing drones down to help too. Okay, he really wants to keep this alive.
No, Dongregul is still working on it as well. Do you dare to right-click on it while taking so much damage and losing your own links? No.
He's losing a lot of income by not having these drones in his main base as well. So
but still,
it's a tricky spot to be in. No, this choke point is actually very favorable for Revival.
Yeah, that was a great surround as well. Great drone transfer. Revival's going to clean up the majority of the Zerglings, even if he ends up losing a few of his own Zerglings.
Wow.
That's okay. He has more money.
Sick hold.
Yep.
I'm impressed. I think there's a world where he's able to be more persistent with dancing around it, but I believe Dong Rigu thought that he was going to get a better fight against the drones and the lings, but he's that mineral walk to get through the other side of the lings and then fully surround. It seemed like that caught him off guard, but what a brilliant decision. I'm surprised.
Things are looking very good now for Revival, even though he is down a few workers. He has a good move by with the Queen as well.
It's important to note that even with the worker count favoring Dong Rigu, Revival has the advantage of the second hatchery, so extra larva production. So as he gets money, his economy, his army, his everything will scale much faster. And
yep. Every Zerg in the world will pick 14 drones and 2 hatcheries over 1 hatchery and 17 drones, that's for sure. The only thing that Dong Rigu does have going for himself, Nate, is that speed is more than halfway done. There are rocks over here as well. Of course, it takes forever for Zerglings to kill rocks, so I don't really think that he can use that to his own advantage. It's not that hard to wall off on this ramp. It's probably one of the easiest
You
maps.
do need one tumor, though. You need one creep tumor to wall it off, which makes things tricky because he wants the energy for transfuse.
A couple of Zerglings do run up the natural. Revival has a couple of Zerglings on the other side of the map as well. He's going to take a small skirmish over here against the Zerglings of Dong Rigu.
It's nice that he sees those links because it tells him it's like, well, you're not just building drones here. He starts 5 drones after it, but he's getting ready to move out.
He doesn't know that Dong Rigu has speed on the way. Dong Rigu goes back to mining gas again as well, which gives me an idea that he maybe wants to even drop a bathing nest. Or is he just going to drone it up from here? Is he just going to play a macro game? His own hatch is almost ready, so it would not be impossible. He could just try to use these speed links to scare Revival and maybe pick off a drone or two. I actually feel that's exactly what Dong Rigu is doing, and I like it. I think from here on he can actually play a macro game.
Yeah, he also has to always, of course, keep his eyes on that hatchery, which is so weak. The second spine finishes, so he's forced a lot of resources to be invested. And even just catch some of these Zerglings here. A little bit of nice extra damage that he can get through.
Yeah, I think that was good enough for DRG, man. He's up to 26 drones now. He has his own second hatch up and running. His second queen is about to pop. The extractors are just now going down for Revival. Revival has absolutely no information about what's going on in the map other than where he has his overlords. Those are literally the only things, the only eyes that he has currently out on the map. And without speed, it's obviously going to be very hard to get anything with units done. Pretty solid comeback here by Dong Rigu. I really think he made the best of that situation. He could have been stubborn and go all out with Zerglings and Banelings. He didn't do that. He just showed a certain amount of speed links and he's like, alright, be scared, be very scared. And Revival was scared and Dong Rigu gets the upper hand of the mind game once again.
Those mind games, man. It's so nice. His lair is ahead. He still gets the Baneling nest despite the fact that I think it's pretty clear Revival likes to play with roaches. But I guess I can understand. These links come up, poke up. Ooh, delaying that evolution chamber just a little bit more.
I mean,
it's nice though. Because now he gets the wall up because he had the extra energy. He felt comfortable placing the creep tumors. Now he's gonna place a few more creep tumors. See, Kev, I don't only know Terran. I know you need a creep tumor to block that. I played like 1 ZvZ on this map, and I got wrecked by a speedling all in because I didn't have a creep tumor.
Queens are out of position chasing an overlord, so a couple of Zerglings do run into the main base, and it may look insignificant, but it's actually quite nice for Dong Rigu to get a feel for that layer timing. And of course, you can see if there was something else that he had to be worried about. He actually gets he gets 3 drones in his tiny little run by.
Nice.
That's really, that's more than a man could ever wish for, Nate. Spire is already, of course, on the way for Dong Rigu, once again in the back of the natural, while +1 missile attacks. I feel that this is a much better Mura positioning for Dong Rigu than it was on Overgrove, especially now when these Zerglings are going to try to cancel this hatchery. There are a few queens over here, though. I actually think that the Revival will be able to keep it alive.
With this many transfuses available for that spine crawler, especially, should be good to go. I mean, DRG's building a few Banes, just one. Okay.
One Bane.
The one Bane.
The dream Bane.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this one. He's gonna try to just hit a home run first, just one bat, that's all.
A Hail Mary Baneling.
Well, can he get it? No.
But he does have a lot of Zerglings over here, and you mentioned the transfuses, Nate. He's gonna have to do a very good job in transfusing, and he is doing
he has too much energy.
Yep.
Transfused for days.
Alright. Man, if there were like 5 Banelings, and he would be able to blow up the queens, it's a different ballgame.
Yeah. I think a couple of Banelings. I think a couple of Banelings very rarely worse than just one.
Yes.
Unless you do get the dream hit. If that one Bane kills the 4 lings, then I'm okay with it.
I worked at PAX South last weekend, and good old Incontrol made like the same same joke reference like 3 times when he was casting. He's like, all right,
He has a tendency to do that.
I have a full lab of scientists that has indeed proven that 2 is better than 1, and these results were brought to you by the University of. He just kept on going. He mentioned this a couple of times. Every single time there were new people at the stage anyway, so they were all laughing. I was like, Jeff, you tricky guy, Jeff.
Yeah, well, you know how it goes.
Few roaches being sent across the map once again. Tunneling Claws is not ready yet this time. It's not even on the way. Actually, it just starts it now. But like I said, this is just a much better meta positioning for Dongrigu than he was in on Overgrowth, man. Everything is just a little bit quicker for him. He has a slightly better economy. He has nothing to worry about. The roach count of the Revival is not as high. The upgrades of Revival is not as good. He should really not take too much damage from this. He's going to be able to pick off all these roaches on the left side of the map. He does have to worry about his third base a tiny bit though. He's actually going to end up losing it.
These roaches picking it off are really, really nice because if the Mutalisks ever want to cross the map, obviously he needs to, if he wants to take a third base while crossing the map with the Mutas, he's always going to be vulnerable to the roach pushes. So now he brings the Mutas all the way over here. What does this do? This gives Revival time. With time, he gets safety. All these Spore Crawlers can go up. He has his third base, and I like this. You know, the supply looks obviously a little bit in favor of DRG, but I like the setup that Revival has more as far as a long game goes.
Well, I mean, after he picked up that hatchery, I'm, leaning towards agreeing with you. He also threw up 7 Spore Crawlers, by the way. He's like, nope, I ain't taking no damage from no Mutalisk. I'm just gonna make 7 spores, and obviously it doesn't really matter how many Mutalisk you have. You're gonna have a really hard time fighting anything that includes 2 spores.
He cancels the third again.
Yep.
That's one of the weaknesses of this map, is that third base is so out there. Very difficult to get creep spread over there, which therefore makes it very difficult to reinforce or defend properly.
So there's still absolute map control, of course, for Dongrigu because of all these Mutalisk, and I feel he has a few more as well than he ever had on Overgrowth. He has 15 right now. 15 is definitely enough to fly in and kill a Spore. There are 2 queens over here as well. I think he's just looking for the right Spore to engage.
Yeah, if you dive on that Spore though and you don't kill it,
yeah,
that's the Shrek-toning. You're just gonna lose Mutalisks.
Yes, Nate, you end up losing a lot of Mutalisks. I love how he's kind of hiding the Spore behind the Roach Runner as well. He's like, shoot him, a Roach Runner.
It's like, yeah, I've seen the Whittle Mines do it before. Why can't I?
And these spores are actually relatively hard to spot.
He does find a sweet spot. This is nice. Killing the spawning pool will prevent him from building any more spores, I guess. More queens.
And he will kill it anyhow.
And he contaminates hatchery. I love the hatchery contaminations. It prevents it from building larvae, of course. Also delays the larva inject. So you're just hurting the production of the opposing Zerg player quite a bit.
So the Infestation Pit is down once again for Dongrigu.
Is he going to try to go Locust? Swarm Host once more?
He hasn't researched during Locust yet. I mean, he has to know that Revival is probably going to max out before him because he lost his third base twice. Or one time he lost it, one time he was forced to cancel it. He's seen all the spores as well. He is, of course, completely aware of the fact that he hasn't been able to do a whole lot of economic damage with these Mutalisk, other than indirect economic damage, the spores and, here and there a spawning pool or something. But nothing major.
No. I'm still quite concerned, though. You have the +1 Carapace for Revival's Roaches, which is always really nice, and he's got Hydralisks coming in too, so his army will just be better in a straight-up fight. Obviously, the Infestors opened up the door for a Fungal, which could basically bring about the end of these Mutalisks in a matter of seconds. DRG starts Baneling speed in +2. More Mutas!
Wow.
That I was not expecting. Oh!
Against Infestors and 9 Hydras already. So I guess the game plan over here is roll a bunch of Banelings into the Hydralisk and then just try to survive. Now he makes a bunch of... Did he cancel his Mutalisk? He cancelled the Mutas, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he cancelled them. Alright.
That was very smart of him. You lose the larva, but I don't think the Mutas are going to really accomplish a whole lot for you when there's this many Infestors on the map. He's going into Swarm Hosts. The question, Kev, does he have the time?
Well, he's going to try to counterattack. Speedlings, of course, are going to be able to buy a little bit of time for himself, especially if he brings Speedlings and Mutalisk at the same time. He's also starting to work on the rock, so he's opening up more paths to counterattack at the same time. First set of Speedlings is not able to achieve a whole lot because a couple of Roaches were left behind.
No. So the Swarm Host is starting to finish, but much like all the other issues with this map as far as the positioning goes...
the rocks, the rocks!
It actually pitches off quite a few of these Hydras and Roaches. The rocks even kill a poor Hydralisk.
Yeah, now the Mutas can actually swing in. There are only 3 Hydralisks over here, now 4 actually, and the Infestors are still relatively close. So Dorigu doesn't want to go all the way.
That was really scary. The Roaches broke down the rocks. He's going to go for a bit of a run by into the main base. And most of these Roaches actually going to get killed. He only picked off a Queen, not really much else.
No, but Dorigu is mad in this type of game though. I feel that the Revival is more about slow and steady wins the race, and here and there a calculated attack. And I feel right now it's just absolute madness around the map, which should normally, play into Dongregu's strength. But he is not really ready yet to fight. He didn't have Enduring Locust, now he does. He's still running around. He's trying to find a weakness. He's trying to find a part of the army, exposed somewhere. And he might be able to jump on these 2 queens. That's something. I would like to see him kill these 2 queens.
Yeah, he's gonna go for it. No transfuses. Look at this spread out coming in from both directions, getting a lot of fungals on the Roaches.
Where is the Overseer?
Okay, the Overseer is on top of the Swarm Host, so he can get this. But I don't believe there's a Spore Crawler here to kill it off. So fungal growths are going to hold the Locust in place so that he can continue to advance in on this position. Still, he does have... Oh, actually, he's lost most of his Swarm Hosts. Only 4 remaining.
Yeah, it's also 2-1 upgrades over here for Revival. I think that Revival just didn't take
the damage. And he fungled the Mutas, too.
He just didn't take the damage that I think DRG was hoping that he would eventually take somewhere, either in his third base or in his main, but he had units left behind everywhere. Revival wasn't able to, Dongregu wasn't able to pick off too many units that were in transition either. And that is just going to be it. Revival wins game number 3 on Expedition Lost and takes the series 2-1. Just when I felt like at a certain point when you look at the minimap and there is chaos, like alright, this might be Dongregu's moment to excel, but Revival didn't give him the time. Never took crippling amount of damage from a counterattack, from Zerglings, Roaches or Mutalisks for that matter. And then just went for the attack. Had 2-1 upgrades against only the 1-0 upgrade for Dongregu. The Swarm Host count wasn't where it was supposed to be yet.
Because the thing is, like, Swarm Hosts, you don't want to push into the waves, but when you have so much more than your opponent, like the Locusts are only good if there's other units to support them when you're at least fighting against Roach Hydra, because they do have the damage output to crush them, and you're not fighting on creep, so the Locusts move slow. They don't run up and actually get to your units as quickly. It was overall, I mean, Revival plays a very solid style of ZvZ. He likes to open up with Roaches, not as much on the Speedlings, and if you don't kill him with early Speedling, Baneling, he's usually, more comfortable in that mid game than a lot of his opponents.
What I'm still surprised by is that Revival was able to kill that third hatchery the first time. I really did not feel that the Roach count was that high that he had to kill. Like, I didn't think that it was necessary for Dongregu to focus so much on the Roaches that were on the left side of the map, that were being surrounded by those Zerglings. He used the Zerglings and the Mutalisk on Roaches that were not even in the natural yet. They were pretty far away from the natural. I felt he should have just taken care of the Roaches on the right side first, and then take care of those Roaches that would run into his natural.
Yeah,
and if
losing the third definitely hurt.
Yeah, no, that really hurts a lot, because that slowed his gas economy down so much, meant later Swarm Most, and also a little bit of, Dongregu being indecisive from time to time, starting up those 8, 9, 10 additional Mutalisk, and then changing his mind. That could have actually been... he could have had some units out a little bit quicker, and then maybe the counterattacks would have been slightly more successful. I don't know, it's just theory crafting. Overall, solid series by Revival, and Dongregu not able to truly impress just yet, but there is still a loser bracket. I actually think we should take a look at the brackets, Nate. See what's happening at the Intel Extreme Masters. Day 1, open bracket in Taipei. As if you guys are with us, let's take a look. StarCraft, here we go. Alright, we have some updates for you. If we can go ahead and jump to my screen or to Nate's screen, whatever works.
You got the better bracket than me.
Cool. Alright, so Jokji, I believe, is still going to play against Impact, or, we just don't know the score right now. Linok took out Soxcree 2-0. We already let you guys know that. True defeated Sulky 2-1. Alright, Nate. Maybe I have to take back those words.
Hey man, I told you I like True ZvZ. I'm not surprised to hear that. Sulky taking a map was nice, but
wow, you're talking about Sulky. Sulky taking a map.
Yeah,
is
but
never nice.
you know what they say about the Kespa players when they leave Kespa,
All right, so Jokji did win actually, so it's going to be Jokji versus Linok and True versus Hero. True versus Hero is probably the bigger match, so that means that we will most likely cast Jokji versus Impact. As of course,
I want it.
We are the secondary stream, and over here there are no updates yet, other than what we have just seen. And that is that Revival took out Dongregu. Man, Revival vs Shun, that is like the classic of all Roach matchup classics.
That's going to be, there'd be a lot of Roaches there.
Yep, well, Shun beat Czech, so we are indeed going to see The good old Roach
a lot
versus
of
Roach.
roaches.
Roach brothers. I always feel that Revival and Young go hand in hand.
Yeah, well, I mean,
TSL.
both former TSL, both guys that played in. I don't know if both playing in WCS America really contributes to their love of roaches, but yeah, they both like roaches a lot.
Well, they did win a lot of money with their roaches, Nate.
Yeah, that too.
Alright, we're gonna take a very short break, and after that we'll be back with our next series. No idea yet what it's going to be, but you are watching the secondary stream of the Intel Extreme Masters. That is, of course, brought to you by Intel Kingston. No, it's just
HyperX, Roddy.
Ah, Rocket, Gigabyte, and what am I forgetting, Nate? I'm forgetting one.
Thank you.
And BenQ, that's right. These beautiful monitors do come from somewhere. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.